if I ask all my brothers, all my sisters, if I ask you, how many people of you, how many my brothers, how many my sisters want to learn Deen, want to learn Quran, want to learn Islam, almost everyone will say yes. Surah Nisa, ayat number 103, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, hold fast together to the rope of Allah and not be disunited. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clearly mentions here, hold fast to the rope of Allah. What is the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? If I ask you people what is the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, most of you people will say it's salat, most of you people will say it's zakat, most of you people will say it's Saum. Everyone have different, but here the rope of Allah describes the Quran itself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this ayat describes about the Quran. The rope of Allah, it's Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions here, hold fast together to the rope of Allah and not be disunited. Let us start by reflecting upon what Quran has to say about itself. Now, if I ask you people, do you want to learn Quran? Most of you will say yes, we want to learn Quran. Most of you, you know, most of you may be Hafiz, most of you maybe have completed the Quran with tarjama, with translation, with everything. But here, if I just start by reflecting upon what Quran has to say about itself, Quran introduces itself as the guidance of the world and the manifest light. This Quran says about itself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in Quran, the guidance of the worlds, not the world but of the worlds, and the manifest lights of the worlds. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions here the worlds about this dunya and about the akhirah. The guidance in this world and the guidance in akhirah and the manifest light. According to Quran, Allah has laid down solution of every human problem in the Quran very clearly. Quran says, Surah Nahl, ayat number 89, and we have revealed the book to you, explaining clearly everything. Also, He has described the Quran in this word, Surah Baqarah, ayat number 185, a guidance for mankind and clearly evidence of guidance and discrimination between wrong. The Quran is accordingly a guidance and evidence, a discrimination between right and wrong, and a manifest light for the people to guide them aright and help them in all their needs. It is imaginable that it would not guide them aright in its own matter, while it is their most important need. Again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and as for those who strive hard for us, we will most certainly guide them into our ways. Surah Ankabut, ayat number 69. And for those who strive hard for us, we will most certainly guide them onto our ways. Which striving is greater than the endeavor to understand this book? And which way is more straight than the Quran? Again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in different ayahs, in different places of the Quran. The Holy Quran is a book by sound reasoning bestows insight upon the man. It shows the right path to man by giving the accounts of the prophets and the nations. It motivates him through parables, exhortations, and admonitions. Surah Hud, ayat number 49. Such are some of the stories of the unseen, which we have revealed unto you. Before this neither you nor your people knew them. So preserve patiently, for the end is for those who are righteous. The Quran describes its other functions as presentation of the prophetic mission, which is aimed at guidance of humanity by delivering it from darkness and leading towards light. Surah Ibrahim, ayat number 1, a book we have sent down to you so that you may bring forth mankind from darkness into the light. What is the meaning of darkness mentioned in the above ayah? Without doubt, the darkness of ignorance is one the vices from which the Quran emancipates humanity and leads it toward the light of knowledge and wisdom. However, if merely ignorance were regarded as darkness, and the philosopher could have accomplished this job. But there exist other evils more dangerous than the vice of ignorance, and to subdue them is beyond the power of sheer knowledge. Among them there are vices of worship, material benefits, egoism, enslavement to desires, and greed, which are considered to be personal and moral vices. Social vices like oppressions and discrimination manifest spiritual darkness of a society. In Arabic, the word zulm, injustice, oppression, meaning, is derived from the same root as zulma, darkness. Zulma, darkness, which shows that injustice is from a social and a spiritual darkness. To struggle against such forms of darkness is the responsibility and mission of the Quran and other heavenly books. Addressing Prophet Musa alayhi salam, as the Quran says, that you may bring forth your people from the darkness into light. Surah Ibrahim, ayat number 5, that you may bring forth your people from the darkness into the light. This is what Quran is all about. This is the solution of every problem for all of the mankind. This is the guidance for dunya and for akhirah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala